Okay, so
Did that get
who knows, right?
Oh,
Mystery
dear.
time. I don't know if your bedroom talk gets in. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So, Kava can lead you to the the slave outpost if you're all ready. If there's no further other issues you have.
I think so.
Okay.
I would only bring up the issue of if we try to have this person search for the artificer and there's clones, how the hell is that going to work? Do clones have souls? And I would like trip into like this whole like I don't even know, like just like talking to myself.
Whoa.
On
Androids
the way
being
there.
magic sheet.
Dude, question, yeah. And Kava will start leading you down and down in the city, leading with his clanky little backpack, toddling away, quite often humming, actually. And noticeably you're going down and down and down, past the area of the manufactories to areas where all the water runs off from the farmland, and actually even further into an area that's just ruins. It's just the support structures for buildings above, and probably buildings that were used thousands of years ago, but everyone's kind of moved up, and etc, etc. So this area, it definitely makes the hairs stand on end on the back of your neck when you're going down walkways which are really just ruined stairwells that have kind of collapsed in on themselves. There's often scuttling things in the distance that kind of just briefly cast a shadow over your group. Kava doesn't seem to mind. Hathor is alert at the very least. But it's definitely not a safe place. But it's the kind of place where you don't see much military supervision, if any, at all. You do see other drow. Moreover, you see other races that clearly are not part of the drow society. Goblins, the occasional dwarves, slaves that would have gotten away, that sort of thing. Eventually, Kava will lead you to one of these areas in this ruined section at the bottom of the city, which is maybe at some point would have been, a cistern or part of an aqueduct system or something. It's a very open section that has these big pillars, and there's clearly, staining from water. But however long ago this place was flooded, who knows, and it's kind of sits almost rings on all the structures. But once you kind of make it around a corner, this place is brimming with life. There are easily hundreds of people down here, and they are all in some way soldiers. It does have some comparisons to the war camp up above, but just with a far lower quality. This is where slaves escape to prepare to fight back against the leadership of Narashiro. And Kava's kind of like, no, these people are fine, they're with me, and kind of like leading you through the first few, chainmail-clad guard, and all the armors are hodgepodges of other armor sets made to fit properly. But there's a lot of people here, a lot of people willing to fight, huddled around fires and big old fire pits and things like that, and lantern light. Yeah. Anything any of you have to say about this?
There's an awful lot of you.
Well, there's an awful lot of slaves that we haven't got to free yet.
You said you have to move frequently.
Yeah, this spot's been quite good. There's inquisitors who's like, they see their main duty is to keep us down. Yeah. It's okay, though.
How
Out
long
of
have you...
curiosity. Sorry, continue going.
I was just going to ask how long you've been here, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh, since the start of the year. So quite a while. There's
Kava,
no sign of it being found out yet.
Do you hold a position of authority in this group?
Well, the only person who does really is Hanonyo. She's in charge. We all listen to her. We also quite respect our forge. We've got to listen to her. She's really old. I don't really. I'm not like a leader. They say I don't really have about I carry myself like a leader really. I perform. I bring the spirits up. I lift the spirits. That's what I do.
Well, where's Hamnonia now?
I can take you to her. I can't take her to you. She would not be leaving the place that she is at. But I can take you to her if you would be interested.
I think that's our best bet. Yeah, guys? She looks around.
Yeah.
Seems wise.
Okay. Well, walk this way. Come with me.
This way.
Lead you through the camp. It's it's busy. Because it's a lot of space, but there's a lot of people. And Drow kind of they're a race that need their own space. Now, of course, this is not all Drow. There's a vast variety of races here. Races from the surface, races from down here, more monstrous races, because Drow basically enslave anything that isn't them, as well as other Drow. And you can be led toward what is essentially, a captain's quarters in a place like this. It's not quite, there's never really walls in this kind of area. There's some of the pillars have kind of collapsed to give it a little bit of protection. But there's a big, actual circular table, ring table. There's a hole in the middle with a fire pit in it, and it's kind of all contained. And around it are all manners of papers and things like that. And standing there, talking to someone else, is Hinonyo. She is a tall and quite broad, muscular drow woman. Her armor is finely crafted, painted black, but like the others, is kind of a hodgepodge of other armor styles. It's not quite like the other samurai you would have seen around, but some things that are proudly displayed is a Ronin brand that's right here, similar to the one that you saw on Jiaying, and various other battle scars that she quite proudly shows. Her hair's tied up in a silver bun, and her sharp eyes look over a lot of you with a kind of cocky smile. She will actually walk over, one hand on the sword at her belt, the other kind of outstretching towards you. So, Kava wasn't sure that you would be the kind of people who would like to work with others. I'm glad to see that that is not the case. And even if you're not willing to join our army, any help you are willing to give is something that I would appreciate, as long as you remain as trustworthy as we believe you to be.
Well, it's actually kind of funny because we kind of thought the same exact thing. We have like-minded goals. We might as well lean on each other for help.
We have many people, but we do not have many talented people. If you are born a slave in this city, you are kept ignorant. We have to teach people up again. We have to build them up again.
Understood.
People who sit on top of towers of gold and silver, they would keep it that way, and that's why they must be torn down, the towers with them.
I think we all agree with that. Looks around at everyone and then says, we have one bit of an issue. I would like to say that we're a surgical team. We go in there, we cut precisely, and we get the job done. But we're much more not like a surgical team, and we kind of just blow everything up in our path. So it has its own value, but so far it's left us lacking information.
Well, Doing things out of the shadows is valuable for a slave army such as this so that we do not remain uncovered, but for morale, blowing up everything in your path would do great wonders. Even your failure to kill the mad priestess has been the talk of the camp.
You hear that, guys? We're famous.
For failure.
I'm sure it's steady.
Or attempting.
Action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not everyone here has been a slave. Many have owned slaves. Many were living their lives up above in the luxury that was built on the backs of others. We just need to convince more people. And we need to bring down those who would drown out our truths. And if that is to be done in not so surgical of a way, then I suppose that is a-okay.
So what you need is a propaganda campaign, correct?
Exactly.
So, I wanted to carry on, but it was
No.
too much. I wanted to just be like, say something, Neil, but it broke me.
No, understandably so. Luckily, that coffee was not super hot. Super hot. Otherwise, I would be one nipple down right now. Which also, great movie title. Anyway.
What was I going to say? I felt my wisdom save on that one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a great many of the drow think that the surface races hate them and would kill them, correct?
I do not know everyone. What the Church of Idrith teaches is that we are to control the world above as usurper elves. To usurp the surface because we are greater than those, and those who are greater than us must be destroyed, such as the sun elves and moon elves who aeons ago betrayed our ancestors. That is what it teaches. It's not necessarily out of fear. That's not, that might be part of it to some people, but it is out of jealousy. The people who come from the surface, they have everything, all their lives. They see endless skies. They have endless seas filled with water. They can grow crops in the light of the sun. They have an easy life, as we have lives filled with hardships. It is the jealousy that makes us want to take the surface. And that jealousy is building an army that, well, scares me.
What if we were to, as we intend to do, slowly work our way through the drow leadership and get rid of it? But while doing so, we also begin, for the common people, a propaganda campaign. What is more powerful than a drow and a sun elf standing side by side on the surface? Now I understand your artificer, not your artificer, the master artificer, has generated all sorts of fantastic techniques for capturing images of people. What is better than a drow and a sun elf, a human, and whatever else standing together on the surface, saying this world is yours to enjoy too?
It's
What
good work.
if you could have this freedom without bloodshed?
Now tell me, do the people of the surface fear the drow?
Yes.
They fear the
Then it is not
unknown.
just the drow that must be given this information.
They fear the unknown. They fear bogeymen in the night, as is ever the case with anyone.
I will tell you something quite plain. We are not looking to take the surface, even as refugees. There are others who do this. The cult of the blue-eyed goddess sends drow to the surface. We are not that cult. You have a grand idea, but we are not looking to the surface. We are looking to take Narashiro, our people's land. The surface might be a grand place to go after, our people's home is safe from the bigots who control it.
What I am saying is to make that dream a reality, you need more people, more believers. How many of your people would wish for a holiday in the ancient Islande forest to see the Crimson Mountain? How many of them would wish to taste surface food? With relations improved between our races, there is no reason this could not happen.
Give me a persuasion roll.
We call the holiday Riley Day.
Oi! East Riley Day!
Ooh.
She crosses her arms. This is something that must be given great thought. Propaganda is a grand tool. Our focus will be down here, but once we take Narashiro, and I am its new leader, a good trade relation with the surface could be created if the races of the surface are willing to do so. I am willing to outstretch my hand.
I believe that they would.
I want to insight check her.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, because
Agreed.
the whole I will be the leader thing is a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Do you want to do one as well then, Vale?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
May I? Because I also was thinking.
If
that
you
as
want to do one,
Okay.
do one, hey!
I had to one up him.
Thanks.
Of course, everyone one-ups me.
I was like, oh, good roll,
really
Ian.
well.
Which means you all get the same thing, is that she doesn't intend to dismantle Narashiro. She definitely intends to topple the leadership and take control of it. Which is why she's a little bit distant on this kind of idea. Of course, she's willing to... She's expressing some interest. She's not like, no, and she's not lying to you, like, oh, no, we're never interested in this. But she wants to sit on a throne like a kitty cat.
She's a little monster.
That is
now.
entirely liquid right now. Holy heck.
Little monster, huh?
She
Wants
wants
to
to sit
break
on the
cables.
throne. Who knows what type of leadership it would be. But something that you would notice is the way she talked about the usurper queen Faith was actually in the way of a believer. She was kind of trying to distance herself from it, believing that you probably aren't part of it, but she is actually a follower of Hidrith. Now she wants to do this via freeing slaves. Is that just a means to an end, though?
Indira is finally starting to warm up to this. There was something else I was going to say, but I forgot.
That's okay. If it comes back, we'll come back around.
Sorry.
I think we need to pick our next target carefully. Do we still think that the Artificer is our next target? Now that we know she has clones of who knows how many.
Not as Vale. I believe we noticed or were told someone told us that she was the person who generated, like, she can capture moving images.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would be extremely useful for a PR campaign. If that is our intention to, because ultimately when it comes to fighting the Daimyo, we're going to need a slave army to draw away other armies and distract.
I think we also want to take her out so that she can stop supplying tech to all of our enemies.
Agreed.
I
Well-
think she's the right target right now.
If that's the case, we need to find out where she is right now. We assume she is home, so to speak, because she's not been letting herself out.
The other thing
But-
is that whether, like, out of character, I know or at least I'm pretty confident that it's not a case of you kill one clone, they all die. They are completely separate beings.
Again, this is something you do not know
yeah
in this
character, I wouldn't
campaign,
know
so you
that,
really
but
shouldn't
we
have brought
would-
it up
we
anyway.
would
That's the
I'm
issue
not- I'm
with
not-
watching the other game. You're kind of streaming information in that.
No, that's
shouldn't
not.
have.
But we know that there are clones that exist. So I'm also not saying this in character. I'm just saying that in character we would want to research what exactly it means to have clones, whether or not
Mm.
we would
you
need
have
to
a
kill
nice
them all,
vague description.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Or whether clones can use magic. Yeah.
Yeah, what their limitations are, sort of thing. Because if we have to kill like a dozen of this artificer, that's a lot. That's a massive job in comparison to, say, killing one high priest, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
That's research to be done.
Yeah.
Wow.
The issue with fighting Tanuma Bieris is that she is a paranoid genius. Everyone else on your list, which is the same as my list, genius list, has an army of some kind, aside from maybe the current high priest. But she will most likely be hiding behind priestesses at this point, perhaps even creatures that she can summon from her faith. But Tanuma may be able to build things, and can build any number of things to keep you away. But the bounty that you could get from her laboratory once she is defeated, we could do great things with. If you can kill all of her at once, that is.
The other
One of her get away.
Yes. The other issue is that we heard that her core laboratory is outside of the city. In the current state of awareness, heightened awareness, it is going to be much more difficult for us to travel out and in.
Oh, we can handle that.
See, it's good to know.
We
people,
are
guys.
here under the city because we need to be. But we can help you outside.
That
It would
is
actually
one
be
less
most
concern.
convenient if you can do that while we continue working in here.
Well, she turns to the Russell-esque guy whose name I forgot.
Kava, who is currently kind of pulling, he's got the bag down on one of these benches and is like pulling some crystals out.
Can you find her? Can you watch her?
Well,
Try?
see, that's there's a further wrinkle, right? Whenever we try to find anyone on these lists, they either have magic protecting it, or my magic's not. It only works on weak-willed individuals, and they are quite strong at the power they have. Is like they're like, "Ugh, I don't want you to see me," so they don't see me. And then there's also like, what if they see me back? That would be quite spooky. I don't think I would like that.
I get that. To transport her goods, she must be using these large beetles, no?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Well, what if we can go get a couple of large beetles and make our way in, maybe under them? Maybe pretending to be the guy who handles all of them, like ruffles through her bag and pulls out his clothing and says, "Could you find this guy?"
Hinonio says, if you are wanting to travel that way, having a servant beetle and being on top of it, when you travel by a greater servant beetle, no one will pay you any mind. They are looking at the beetle, they're not looking at you. So that is already a good idea. If you can conceal yourself as someone who runs this, then you might be able to get to the door.
What do you guys think? I don't want to make another bad plan, and then like glares at Serena.
Serena doesn't even look at you. She's just like, whatever.
Not the door. In her throne.
Yeah.
Weak-willed.
Yes.
Do you not have the ability to just brute force past it or finesse past it?
Well, I'm only an
Don't look like
amateur. I'm only an amateur arcana smith. You know, I mostly make musical devices. So actually making like proper magic is like it's usually blows up in my face.
Can we bolster your ability somehow?
Well, yeah, if I had something from that person, it would be very easy to do. Doing it just by name is much harder. So if you could get me their underwear, then I could see right through them. Hopefully they put more underwear on, otherwise that'd be a little bit weird. You kind of see that Hinorio
It's a nice idea, but to get the underwear, one would imagine that we may as well just find them by that point.
Agreed.
Unless we know somewhere where they've been.
Was there not mention that the artificer has a fondness for a theatre near where we were?
Yeah, actually, she for sure does. She particularly likes like the silly shows, the childish shows.
Well, those are
Not
the best
sure.
ones. They have the best songs.
Does she always sit in the same seat?
I don't know that, but I do know she hasn't been coming out lately, so she hasn't been there recently. But
Still, it would be an important object to her seat in the theatre. Kava
Oh!
could go and sniff
Or-
it or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, she's important here, right? I know that on the surface, people leave autographs when they're well.
Yeah. If I was like actually a citizen and not a slave, I would have loved an autograph from her because she's quite smart. So maybe that could work, but I don't know if that would be like.
Peter has one hanging.
It could work.
She is very paranoid, but I suppose it's possible that she might give one to, say, her favorite performer. I think that's a good place to start, at least.
Aye.
Then I can find out where exactly she is, and I can like make you a map from here to there, maybe.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Woo. Go cover.
But even if we find this and it becomes easier to locate her, you think she might have magics that prevent it?
Either way, I'd probably be able to figure out like the rough idea, right? I like magic is not like a definite science. I mean, like it is, but it's also not. So, really, I just kind of sometimes it changes like time to time. Sometimes, you know, who knows? It's like a roll of a dice.
If nothing else, were you to find something that is interesting, we already know the location of the laboratory Gilwyn found out. It perhaps would give us an idea. Were we to locate one person who is actually several people, would the spell tell us how many of this one person? But that is also-
And if like you fail and only kill like half of them, then we could use it to find the others as well.
Indeed.
I don't want to like assume that you're going to fail. He just trails off.
Knowing we're going in there to kill 3 of them, or 12 of them, or 24 of them would be very useful.
I think we need to go to the theater then.
Yes. We will either bring you the chair or the autograph cover. I think
The
it's best.
autograph would be like easier because
Yeah,
mean,
it's not a chair. I get it.
Yeah. But then I could always go to the chair if you know what you're doing. Calm down, Kava. Calm down.
Okay, good. Do we have time for this today?
No, because it was like the end of the day when you were like meeting up, so it would be, you know, you'd be tired. You'd probably want to sleep before you go there.
Could we ask to have some tents prepared for us?
Thunio will nod and will kind of march out with a very, military stride and start issuing that to be done. And so, in 10 minutes or so, you have at least a little space where you can rest, some bedrolls, a fire set up, a little bit of very basic food. Not you actually need that, but still. Yeah. You just need to give a little daily suck and you're good. Mm-hmm.
Right, good. And then plan is tomorrow. We go to the theatre, find ideally the autograph, probably from her favourite actor. We need to the problem is we need to do this on the down low.
Yeah.
Which is, how do we do this? Because it'd be easy enough to storm in there and take the autograph, but
Well, we could pretend to be people we aren't. We could pretend to be... How do you want to go with this? We've tried to be performers before, had some success. We could buy an actual ticket to the show and sneak around during a show. That would be a little easier, but harder to find the information we want. Or we could try to sneak in while it's empty and talk to maybe the person that cleans up or something. I don't know.
Why don't we? And hear me out on this one. We all buy tickets and we go in there and we sit down. And then you cast your death spell on Indira, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, she's..." No, I kid. I'm having a joke because of how that went last time.
We've done that plan twice. It kind of worked once. It kind of failed once. I'm not doing it again.
No, I agree. I actually think sneaking around during a performance might be the best shout. I mean, Riley, you could look like a performer or like a stagehand or something.
An usher.
Yeah. We could also, if she sits in the same chair every time, they will probably keep it open just in case she comes.
Indeed.
They won't sell that ticket. So if we particularly buy a sold out show, either she'll be there, awesome, or she won't be there and it'll be the only empty chair. So
I guess a fair guess at what her favorite actor would be one of the leading men or ladies for one of these funny shows that you were talking about.
Yeah, probably. Oh, hold on. I know of a performer. I know of her name. Would I have known what kind of?
Oh, the one
stuff
you
she
know.
did? Yeah.
Is a religious performer, specifically the kind of stuff Tunuma doesn't like.
Yeah, no.
For
not going into
adults.
that, Rose.
No, yeah. The Nadal.
Yep.
She is actually like a religious kind of operatic singer type person. So that would be what you're meant to like, someone of her standing.
Yep.
Explicitly the kind of thing she doesn't.
I'm just gonna warn you, if the music is that good, I might just have to stay and dance for a little bit. That okay with you guys?
I mean, it really depends on how much you enjoy being tortured by drow, you know?
Are we all going to be involved in this? I am just concerned that they'll be looking for a group of 5 that matches our rough description.
I do have a problem with being sneaky.
Okay, Serena
Not
and
very
Indira can
good.
stay behind.
However, you have a problem fighting without me.
I don't think
Veils, niggers.
we need to be sneaky. Can you just go and enjoy a show and be there just in case?
I'll go purchase a ticket.
Hopefully we have enough for tickets. We spent a lot of money.
I mean, they can't be that expensive. Everyone around here is clearly not that affluent. What I would suggest, as Serena says, they are looking for a group of 5, particularly one with a tail.
Mm-hmm.
If we were able to do some reconnaissance of the area, of the route near, that would be useful alongside. Perhaps one or two of us could go and look into purchasing these beetles, while the others go to the show and obtain an autograph or some such memorabilia of the Tanuma.
I don't know if I'd purchase the beetles. I'd probably just go steal them.
Right. Well, okay. I obtain the beetles.
Okay, as long as you're cool with that. As long as you're cool, I'll do that. Indira, you want to come with me and do that?
I'm just saying, though, if you steal the beetles, you might raise an alarm.
Sneaky.
You don't have to be sneaky. We're gonna walk in there like we own the place. Literally, like we own the place.
Oh, I'm very scary. I'm just not sneaky.
That's fine. And then she like grabs the clothes that she put to the side for him to like check out, and she goes, "I'm gonna look just like him. We're good. The Beatles will leave. Don't. We're good. We're fine. Everything will be fine."
Sees the clothes again. No,
Smell it.
Riley, no. Riley, no. So, Indira and Riley will head to the theater. We'll head to the
stables,
the Beetle Sanctuary,
Mm-hmm.
the home for beetles, the larval crypt, the egg hold, the shell stable, and me and Dean will head to the theater, and Serena.
Dean?
Who's Dean?
Oh God!
Gilwin's cover is slave called Dean.
Dean is your human name, so they don't know. No. Gilwin and I will head to the theater, and Serena, what would you wish to do?
I like the way that was asked, as Vale has got used to Serena in these past weeks.
Serena just for a moment is just like, I will. We have not seen many of these Lamia in the streets. It is difficult to say what would draw more attention. If one person were to stop and ask me, I would have a problem. I am in a rare event. I am unsure that I would be of any use for either of these things. Just bringing me simply increases the danger of either of them.
Well, both parties have to come back here, so you could always wait.
My skill set is not suited to either of these things. Besides, I believe it was mentioned that there was someone here who was a master of the forge. Perhaps I could speak to them about some armor in the meantime.
Sounds like a plan.
Indeed, you are very stabbable currently. You're quite a large target.
I am out of practice in wearing armor. If I were to wear it now, I would not be able to cast my spells as well. So I will spend some time practicing the arts that I have neglected. And maybe even if fortunate, I will be able to obtain some armor for myself. But...
Okay. While you guys take a little nappy nap, we're going to take a little break.
Roll out.
No, you're rolling out in around 5 minutes.